Hello, welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I thought we could have a cheeky little chat on how you can maximize your time efficiency. If there's one thing I love to do, it is a lot of stuff. Your gal is busy and people often ask me how I manage to balance everything or how I have enough time in the day to fit everything in, and honestly, it's not that hard. You're probably really underestimating how much you can actually do in a day. You're probably just not organizing your time in a way that is the most efficient, and that's cool. That's why we're here. When I think about time efficiency, there are sort of two separate things that I think we can target. The first thing is organizing your day and your time in a way that is clever. And the second thing is making sure that when you're working your maximum efficiency. And so for my many years of chaos, I've thought about the things that work best for me to target both of those areas, and hopefully they're going to work for you too. My first tip is to use a physical to-do list. Now, this is already kind of assuming that you make to-do lists. If you don't, that's tip 0, which is to start doing that, because otherwise, how are you going to know what you're meant to be doing? And then tip 1 is to use a pen and paper. Now, sometimes people argue that this is actually less convenient because they don't want to have to carry around a notebook and pen everywhere they go, when you could instead use your phone, which you're most likely going to have with you. Well, firstly, it doesn't have to be a notebook. You can literally use a scrap of paper or a post-it note. Are you really telling me you can't fold this in half and fit this into your pocket? Because you're lying. And secondly, the phone is the whole problem, right? As a general rule of thumb, when you're studying, your phone should not be anywhere near you. And if your to-do list is on your phone, every time you finish a task, you're interrupting your flow. You have to pick the thing up that's full of distractions and tick a box on it, right? It seems like a very risky strategy, and the risk has one simple solution: go physical. Also, it's just so much more satisfying to cross something off pen on paper and see it like stuck on your wall than tapping on your phone. You tip tap on your phone all the time, okay? This is the way to go. My second tip is to do tough stuff first. Now, this is firstly advisable because you're sort of getting the bad things out of the way and you don't have to dread them throughout the day. But more importantly, newsflash, humans get tired, and so your efficiency is going to drop as the day goes along. And if we think about the standard model of studying, it's really inefficient for this. Most people wake up, they go to university or sixth form, and then they study in the evenings. And this is an issue because say you have a tricky assignment and you're doing it at 7, 8 p.m, you've already been awake half the day, your brain is not going to be operating as well as it would be in the morning. And so the way that I tackled this, particularly at sixth form, was to wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. And this is because I knew that the most difficult things that I was going to be doing that day were going to be past papers or tough topic revision, not the stuff that I was doing in sixth form. And so it made the most sense to me to move those things from the evening to before sixth form so that I could tackle them when my brain was the most awake and I wasn't wasting my maximum brain power on lessons that quite frankly weren't that challenging. My third tip is to think shorter. Now, there's a famous adage, Parkinson's law, which states that work will expand to fill the time allocated to it. And so the idea is that however long you say something is going to take you, it will take you that long. And so a way in which you can save time is by looking at a task, estimating how long it's going to take you, then taking that number and taking a little bit off, right? You're looking at your room, you think, oh, it's going to take me half an hour to clean. You give yourself 20 minutes. And the likelihood is that you can actually work quicker than you think you can, and the job is still going to get done. And so throughout the day, these little bits of shaved off time are going to accumulate to something actually quite significant. My fourth tip is to make good use of your filler time. And by filler time, I mean when you're not really doing anything, but it can't really be helped. Like you're commuting somewhere, or you're in line for something like the doctor's, or perhaps you're waiting for your friend, but they're running 15 minutes late. And in all of these situations, your first instinct is probably to pull out your phone and start scrolling. And my question to you is, if you're so busy, why are you wasting these minutes when you could be doing something more productive instead? Like you could whip out your phone and do some flashcards, or you could watch a YouTube video on a topic that you've been struggling with recently. All of these things are much better uses of your time than being on Instagram. And as you can imagine, say you have a 30-minute commute to sixth form every day on the bus, that really is going to add up. Now, if you're looking for a free and easy way to learn maths, particularly in a way that will fit right into those bus rides or pesky wait times, Brilliant is the best way to learn maths, data science, and computer science interactively. Brilliant offers thousands of lessons from a basic to an advanced level, so you'll always have something more to learn. Whatever takes your fancy, learning with Brilliant is always fun and interactive. You can choose what pace you want to work at, and Brilliant will customize the content that you're seeing to fit your needs. And if that still isn't enough for you, there are new bite-sized lessons added every month, which makes it easy to build a daily learning habit. Recently, I've been enjoying working my way through their logic course. It's helped me to develop those fundamental skills that I need for my maths degree, and I can easily fit the lessons into my busy schedule. In particular, I think the animations and the interactive learning elements are what makes learning with Brilliant so much better than learning in lectures, and their different approach has been helping me to understand more complex topics, even up to things like multivariable calculus and linear algebra. Whatever knowledge you're looking to develop, you can try Brilliant free for 30 days at brilliant.org/Yanran/. That's Yanran spelled YANRAN, or you can just click on the link in the description. And for when you inevitably want more, the first 200 of you can get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription. My fifth tip is to let yourself be bored. Now, when you're studying, you should always incorporate in study breaks. You're going to need to rehydrate, maybe grab a snack, go to the toilet. But the other stuff that you do during this time does actually impact how well you're studying as well. For example, if you just studied really hard for an hour and you have a 10-minute break before you need to get right back into it, and you scroll on TikTok in those 10 minutes, have you really given yourself a break? No, you've just stimulated your mind in a different way. And so when you hop back into work, you actually haven't rested at all. And I'm not saying that you should be miserable and not once look at your phone throughout the whole day and just study. That's not realistic, right? I mean, I look at my phone all the time. But what I am saying is if you want to maximize your productivity during those study hours, you do actually need to do something that's resting your brain during those breaks. For example, you could stretch for 5 minutes, or maybe go on a 5-minute walk, or literally just sit and do nothing and stare at the ceiling. All of those things are actual break activities. And so it might be a shout next time you have a 10-minute break to do 5 minutes of phone time and a 5-minute stretch. That way you are actually recentering yourself to get back into another hour of studying. My sixth tip is to walk away. Now, this is a study technique that I saw on an Instagram reel that I probably watched during a study break. Oops. I think it was a lecturer that was saying it. I'll see if I can find it. And the premise is this. It's that you sit down at your desk and you say, I'm going to study this, and then you start studying. And the moment you feel yourself getting distracted, you're not sort of fully immersed in the work, you pick up your phone, you walk away from the desk, right? I mean, I just stand sort of down there in the corridor, and then you think the thought, or you reply to the text, or you do whatever, and you come back to the desk and you sit down and you go, I'm going to continue doing this, and you do it until you get distracted again, and then you walk away again. And the premise of this is that you're building up the notion that when you sit down and you say you're going to do this, you do it, and you don't get distracted. And this is a sort of a sharpen the saw kind of technique, because at the beginning you're going to be getting up a lot. But then eventually you're going to be able to sit down for longer and longer periods of time until maybe you're sitting down for an hour and you're working without any distractions, and that is 100% maxed out efficiency. And I've been trying this for months now, and it really does work. It's annoying, but it works. Okay, I've tried to avoid cliches throughout this video, like put your phone on do not disturb and sleep 8 hours a night and drink water and stuff like that. But the exercise thing, it actually can't be avoided. Tip number 7, please exercise, not in a rude way. Firstly, like physical fitness is very highly correlated with intelligence, but also there are very few study problems that can't be fixed by exercising. And I think particularly when it's near exams and you're in a high stressful environment, it can be really easy to neglect your physical well-being because you get so tied up with particularly academics, right? You think, oh, I need to study for 10 hours a day. I'm not going to take an hour out of that to go and exercise. But actually, if you do exercise, your focus is going to be a lot better, your mood is going to be a lot better, you're going to be way more awake, and all of those things are going to mean that in the 9 hours you have left to study, you're going to be way more productive. It's probably going to pay off. And so even when you're sort of in the middle of an exam season, please do not neglect your physical well-being. You gotta exercise, okay? Okay, that's all I have to say to you guys today. Hopefully implementing even just one of these things will help you be that little bit more time efficient, squeeze some more free time out of your busy schedules, and then you'll have more free time to watch Yamran. So everybody wins. Thank you again to Brilliant for sponsoring this video. Make sure to check that out if you want to be a maths weapon like me. Other than that, I'm gonna go and eat. I'm starving. I hope you can't hear my tummy rumbling in the clips. I'm gonna have chili con carne, I think. That's a little bit cheeky. And then I'm gonna edit. So I'll see you guys again next week, same time, same place.